And women are being urged to ignore tribal loyalties and those looking to buy their votes and elect a leader capable of changing Nigeria. The appeal was made by Margaret Obi, the wife of the Labour Party's presidential candidate, Peter Obi. She says her husband has numerous policies to promote women and youth representation in government. She's also urging Nigerians to take advantage of the opportunity provided by the 2023 general elections to vote in patriotic leaders who have the capacity to salvage the country.
The Obi-Dati government is committed to ensuring that women and youth will be represented in government by law, not a token of sprinkle of women. The time for complaining is over. God has presented us with a unique opportunity, and we must do our part as women and as mothers of the nation to truly bet the Nigeria we want to see. What Nigeria needs now, it's a young, hardworking, dynamic, intelligent man. And we in the Labour Party, we have it.
Peter Obi is the one that is going to bring change. I'm from the north. Aisha is from the north. Deti is from the north. A lot of us here are from the north. But we believe in Peter Obi because we want to change the change. And it's only Peter that can do that.
Well, change the change. We have in the studio Ireti Kingibe, a member of the Labour Party and a senatorial candidate of the party for the next election. Thank you so much for joining us. Good to see you on Newsnight tonight. Well, let's start from the top. It would be nice to get your reaction as a female politician who is also seeking elective position. This gale of endorsements. First, I mean, not too long ago, a few days ago, we had from President Olusegun Obasanjo and now elder statesman Edwin Clark. And then you have the governor of Benue State, who belongs to another party, the PDP, opposition party, lining up behind Peter Obi. How does that come to you?
Well, I'm not surprised. The truth, if the truth be told, my personal belief is that the other parties really did not present us with viable options. Nigerians are tired. We want people who can actually, who are strong and dynamic enough to make a difference. And things are really, really bad. The elites may not think so, but I know at the grassroots, the country really is yearning for change.
Yeah, but there are those who think that these endorsements really don't amount to much.
It may not, but I know that the average Nigerian does not want the status quo anymore.
Great.
That's the truth.
Okay. Time will tell, like they say.
Yes, it will.
Let's
the
wait
polls
and see.
will tell.
We're counting down days. I think it's about 52 days and some couple of hours to go.
Yes.
Let's talk about campaign promises for women. At best, they remain campaign promises. Despite a national policy on gender, what will be different with a Peter Obi presidency? We did hear from his wife today promising her husband has priority for women and youth. But what's really, I mean, you're a member of the inner caucus, like we like to say sometimes in Nigerian politics. You're running for Senate, you're a member of the party. What have you seen? Are you convinced that there's anything different?
Yes, I am convinced. If you look at his cabinet when he was governor of Anambra State, he had a lot of women, not, as she said, just a sprinkling. And also within the campaign, the people that he talks to, relies on, were women. And there's Aisha Yusufu. He has a lot of respect for women's capacity and the way women are very detailed. And also, we're more honest.
Well, he didn't take advice. A running mate, a female running mate.
Yeah, that was different. Under the circumstance, I think there were certain constraints, let's just put it that way.
Right.
But in every other way, you will all see that Peter Obi's gender record will be much, much better. And in any case, I know for certain that were I to become the senator of FCT, there'll be a marked difference in gender equality and gender programs.
All right,
Definitely.
let's even talk about that. I mean, you've been described as a woman on a mission. I will just leave out the other part of it because, I mean, some say a woman on a mission to remove, you know, the senator, Aduda, who's been there like forever.
Duncan, yes.
6% of Nigerian women involved in politics, way below the global average of 22%, and way below the West Africa average of about 15%. You must be going against a very, very tough, you know, challenge here. Share your experience with us on how you've been able to overcome that to the point that you're confidently running for Senate of the, you know, FCT. And what exactly do you bring to the table anyhow?
Well, over the years, because I've been in the political space for a while, I've never held any government office, but I've always been involved with the people. I've always kept my word. Things I cannot do, I go back and say, this is not doable. And those that I can do, I say, well, this has been achieved. The other one, he told me to just get out. He can't do, he's not going to do it. So the people have learned to trust me. The truth is that as much as I always believed that if I had the ticket at any point in my political career, I would win the elections. But the main thing was they always gave the tickets to men. If sometimes we wouldn't even do the primaries, they'd just pick a man arbitrarily. Even when they have laws saying, or party laws saying, when a man and a woman have to go to runoff, they'll give the ticket to the woman. They still refuse and go to runoff anyway and find a way to take the ticket away. Now, what I bring to the table is that I have studied the issues. I live in the FCT. I've lived here since 1988. So I know what the problems are. I've also, I know the indigenous people as well as the residents. So the indigenous people also trust me. And we have reached the point where we all need good governance. And it's no longer about my tribe or your tribe.
Right.
Also,
the indigenous people that you talk about, they are asking for special status. Right. Are you going to be pushing that?
I'm going to push for concessions for them. But in a democracy, what kind of special status do you want? We can have, I've had chats with young indigenous people, and there are certain things they've tabled that, okay, their parents didn't go to school, they are struggling to be educated. It would be good if there's some sort of a scholarship fund for indigenous people. That I agree with. And they've also talked about the fact that they know they cannot stop the growth of the capital. It is only a matter of time, and the indigenous people will get less and less in the big picture of everybody being here. So they asked me to create like a tourist village that sort of showcases their culture, so it never actually dies, even when I think their demands are not unreasonable. Then there's also integration, because I would do everything in my power if I became senator to work with the president and the minister to have Abuja spread out, as opposed to all the development being in just this little bit where the rest is undeveloped, to spread out Abuja. Now, if you do that, that means we're also going to go to indigenous villages and stuff. So I want to pass a law like called maybe in some sort of integration law. When you come there and there's a government project or something, you don't remove the people. Instead, you integrate them into whatever it is that you're doing there. And that way, they would also have a sense of belonging because you didn't uproot them.
Great.
So there are other ways of concessions, but to say we must only give a particular tribe the senator or House of Rep, it's not going to work anymore.
Okay. I like the concept of spreading out development. I mean, decongest the main city.
Yes.
Everybody doesn't have to come to Maitama.
And we'll say to...
Yeah, we'll say to the rest of them. But let's talk about electoral currency, which is votes.
Yes.
The Nigerian politics or the political system is heavily monetized.
Yes.
In your race to the Senate, what are some of those challenges you foresee or you have encountered? And when it comes to the money-back politics, are you able to withstand that storm? Are you able to play in that circle as a woman? Because some will say that's a major challenge against Nigerian women participating in politics.
Very true.
Others will say we have a population of women that is almost half of the entire population, if not more.
Yes.
Yet,
They're
But
not
we
taking
see,
advantage of it.
the women don't seem to be voting the women. So what are you doing to change that? Numbers don't lie. If we have a lot of women and the men keep winning, it's common sense that the women are voting the men. So what are you doing to change that?
Okay, let me tell you to begin with. How many women are actually on the ballot? The women are taken out in the primaries. So if you need more women, for more women to be elected, you first have to start within the parties. That's the first place to start. Now, within the parties, there are very few women who are executives of the party. So they're not going to be the delegates who are going to choose the women. Now, when it comes to a general election, in FCT we're a little luckier. I think, luckier than the other states because money is not, FCT politics is not so monetized at the polls. Why? Because the places with the biggest votes, Amak and Buari, that have 75% of the votes in the FCT, are civil servants, educated and literate people. And it's difficult to go and start trying to force 500 naira on the 3,000 voters at Hilton Junction. So it's never been where you could fiddle with the votes was in the collation. But even with that, look at the voting pattern of FCT. The sitting government brings in all the money, but they never win. Because once the people have made up their mind that this is where they're going, they listen to everybody. Sorry.
But there's the other leg, just before we let you go, sorry, so that you can, catch your breath a little. The issue of women lining up behind women, just like Adiswa said, look, you have 50-something% of women, and yet it doesn't reflect in their, representation or even the support base. The votes really, it doesn't translate to votes. That's the point. Well, what are you, reaching the women, this women, so that your message can actually resonate with them?
Actually, I've been talking a lot to women. I think that in this campaign, I probably reached out a lot more to women because I've noticed that there's a shift and more of an awareness among women. So you find that women just instantly, I go to a church or some female gathering and I tell them I'm the senatorial candidate, and there's this excitement of, oh, a woman. And there's a different awareness that didn't used to be there. And I think now, I notice when I go places, I notice women with capacity, and I said, if I win, I'm going to come back and look for this woman. Maybe she would want to be counselor. So we're becoming more united because it's dawned on us that we have to be the ones to effect this change and more women representation in government.
Fantastic. Woman on a mission. I like to underscore that.
We wish you the very, very best. That's much we can do as journalists on the stage. Well, we wish you the very best. Thanks so much for being on the news tonight. We do appreciate your time.
Thank you for having me.